of people and put others' wants before their own. But does anyone tell us about what can happen if we are too caring and kind? The world is full of kind people who give to everyone and waste their own money and energy in the process. It's possible that being too kind could put our own lives in danger. Be amazed at the surprise bad things that can happen to you because you are too kind. Today I will tell you 9 of them and give you 6 stoic ways to stop people from taking advantage of you right away. Let's move on to number 1. You will have unrealistic expectations of people. Stoics say that we should accept things as they are and not depend on other people's actions to make us happy. They say that if you give without expecting too much in return, you'll avoid sadness and develop emotional detachment, which will give you more peace of mind. Being completely selfless in our generosity is hard, because when we give our all, we expect others to do the same for us when we need something important. But if you're used to having everything done for you, people will assume that you can handle everything in their lives and yours, especially your own. If you couldn't handle your own, why would you take on other people's? In reality, what will happen is that your hopes for return will not be met. Instead, you'll feel bad, tired, frustrated, and let down. Still, if we look at it objectively, people aren't failing you. They're just doing what you should be doing, which is taking care of their own tasks. Different things, like societal norms, personal wants, past experiences, and media influences, can lead to unrealistic expectations. A lot of the time, these assumptions involve thinking that other people will act or behave in ways that may not be true. To keep relationships healthy and avoid disappointment or anger, it's important to understand and accept that people aren't perfect and may not always live up to our standards. It's important to be honest with others, hold them to reasonable standards, and show empathy and understanding. Managing standards can help you have more satisfying and peaceful interactions with other people, which can lead to relationships that are more realistic and last longer. Number 2, people will only want something from you. Stoics say that it's important to remember that true value comes from doing the right thing, not just what other people want. Moderation and giving will help you stay in charge of your actions and stay away from bad habits that are bad for your mental health. Having been, people are creatures of habit, which is something you've heard your whole life. This is because our bodies are made to get used to a rhythm, a way of life, and a lot of different things going on around us. Being able to change is where the idea of a safety zone comes from. People who gain from your kindness will expect you to give them something all the time if you do it often. This will earn you their respect. Comfort zones, and they won't do many of their duties because you'll be there to do them. The problem you'll have is not valuing yourself, because if you don't, no one will look you in the eyes and tell you to care more about yourself. At the very least, don't expect people you help to be compassionate in this way, because they will stick to their own Robin Hood, which will cost them their lives. A lot of people think that other people want something from them, whether it's something concrete, like a gift or a favor, or something more general, like help, respect, or approval. But keep in mind that standards aren't the same for everyone or every case. When people connect with each other, some may have hopes, but that doesn't mean that everyone will only want to receive something. A lot of people are also happy when they help others without expecting anything in return. People help each other out and give because they care about the world and want to make it a better place. Good relationships also have mutual respect, understanding, and equality, which means that both people give and receive the same amount. Making rules and talking to each other clearly can also help manage expectations and make sure that talks are respectful and good for everyone. Before we end, it's important to keep in mind that relationships between people are difficult and not just about making deals. Also, it's good to know what other people want from us and help them out. Number 3, you run a significant risk of being called weak and treated. It's possible that people will call you weak and treat you like one. Stoic philosophy encourages us to develop inner strength and self-discipline when we set specific boundaries and practice self-discipline. We can show others that we are committed to our own responsibilities and values. This earns respect instead of being seen as fragile and treated that way. When you are always ready to help others, you may believe that you are establishing yourself as an authority in the areas you collaborate in. However, this can create a negative image of you, because when boundaries are not set, others may start to see you as weak or easily commanded. This is contrary to a lead. This can lead them to shift their responsibilities onto you, knowing that you are unlikely to refuse because you are always ready to help others. However, as soon as you start using the word no, others may begin to consider something they may not have considered before. That is, setting boundaries and saying no when necessary demonstrates authenticity and commitment to your own priorities, thereby earning the respect of those around you. So it is important that you show authenticity and say no when needed. Having healthy relationships is important for a happy life because they give us mental support, a sense of connection, and a sense that we belong. But it's important that these relationships are healthy and good for both people. Healthy relationships are ones in which everyone contributes and receives support in an equal and respected way. If you are too nice to your partner, they may take advantage of your kindness in healthy relationships. It's important that everyone is willing to give and receive support fairly. Just because you're a man doesn't mean you have to give everything that women want. Everyone has limits, and this goes for both sexes. If you are too kind, everything can become an obligation. Your words make it sound like you're worried about being seen as weak and possibly being treated badly because of that. Never forget that there are different kinds of power. Being open or asking for help doesn't make you weak. In fact, it often takes a lot of strength to admit that you are weak and ask for help when you need it. Focusing on building your self-confidence and surrounding yourself with people who value and respect you for who you are can help if you're worried about how other people might see you. Taking care of yourself and setting limits can also help protect your health in scenarios where you might be mistreated. It's important to remember that everyone has problems and issues from time to time. Asking for help when you need it is a sign of strength, not weakness. If someone is mistreating you, you should talk about it and get help from trusted friends, family, or experts who can help you handle the situation. People should be nice to you and treat you with care. Number 4, you run a significant risk of developing a dependency. The Stoic theory stresses moderation and self-control. Being generous and self-disciplined can help us stay away from addictive behaviors and have a healthy relationship with our actions and choices. When necessary, wants become a part of daily life, the needs often keep going up, making it easy to become dependent on others. One day, someone close to you might realize that you are abusing something too much, whether it's food, alcohol, or any other substance. Remember that people who care about you always want the best for you, so pay attention to what they have to say. Their worries are meant to help you avoid problems and move toward the improvement you want. Many people praise Stoicism for being wise in real life and strong in the face of mental illness. However, it's important to take a balanced view of any philosophical or psychological structure. Focusing on what we can control, accepting what will happen, and finding inner peace are all things that Stoicism teaches. But there is a chance of taking it too far and becoming dependent on it, just like with any other belief or theory. Here are some risks that might come with becoming too dependent on Stoicism. Emotional suppression. Stoicism tells people to control their feelings instead of letting them decide what they do. But if this goes too far, it can cause emotional suppression, which is when people reject or ignore their feelings instead of dealing with them in a healthy way. Avoiding vulnerability. Stoicism stresses being self-reliant and strong, which can mean avoiding being vulnerable or asking for help from others. Being independent is important, but being close to other people and being open are also very important for mental health. Overemphasis on control. Stoicism tells us to focus on what we can control, but this can make people rigid and make them feel like they need to control every part of their lives, which can cause stress and worry when things happen that they can't control. Ignoring personal growth. Stoicism encourages people to be good and improve themselves, but focusing too much on keeping up a stoic front may get in the way of personal growth. If you have a rigid stoic attitude, you might not see how important it is to admit your flaws, make mistakes, and learn from them in order to grow. Withdrawal from emotions. Stoicism encourages a logical way of living, which can mean letting go of your emotions. Building mental strength is important, but losing touch with your feelings too much can make you not understand or care about yourself or others. To stay away from Stoicism or any other intellectual framework, stay flexible. Know that Stoicism is a tool, not a strict set of rules. You shouldn't mindlessly follow its rules. Instead, let yourself change them to fit your own situation. Accept that life is complicated and nuanced, and that not all situations can be easily defined or managed. Accept ambiguity and learn how to handle doubt with strength. Seek balance, combine Stoic ideas with other ways of thinking and doing things that are good for your mental health, like being mindful, being kind to yourself, and getting social support. Constantly thinking about it. Think about how Stoicism or any other theory is affecting your feelings, thoughts, and actions on a regular basis. To keep a good mindset, be ready to change how you do things when you need to. Number 5. Your priorities will be trampled upon. One of the most important things that Stoics stress is how important it is to live in a logical and moral way. Setting limits and responsibilities is important for keeping our balance and not giving up our authenticity and well-being for other people. When you give all of your time to other people's needs, you risk and can experience inconvenience and exhaustion. If you are on a journey to find happiness and completeness, think about how you feel when you spend the weekend alone or come home every day to find no one waiting for you. To be complete, you must first take care of yourself. Before giving comfort to others, you must feel whole, satisfied, and cared for. In other words, don't give chocolate to others before you enjoy it yourself, and know that this is not selfish. Also, don't offer to help your friends clean their homes before you get your own in order and watch a movie or drink a glass of wine. First, take care of yourself and then show love to everyone else. It sounds like you're angry or stressed out because your goals aren't being taken into account or are being overshadowed by other issues. It is important to deal with these thoughts and the problems they are hiding. You might want to take these steps. Reflecting on yourself. Take some time to figure out what's most important to you and why. Think about whether they fit with your long-term goals and ideals. Communication. Be clear and direct with those concerned about your priorities. Tell them why your values are important and how they fit into the bigger picture. Negotiation. When goals don't match up, you have to find a middle ground. Look into different ways to reach a compromise or different choices that can somewhat balance everyone's needs. Setting limits. To protect your goals, it's important to set limits. Learn to say no when you need to and give jobs to other people that aren't important to you. Staying flexible. It's important to stick to your values, but be ready to change them if things change or if there are good reasons to do so. Ask for help. If you're having trouble setting goals or feeling overwhelmed, don't be afraid to ask for help from trusted friends, co-workers, or mentors who can give you advice or a different point of view. Number 6. Maintain healthy boundaries to protect your well-being. Imagine that there is a fence around your yard. This fence protects your most prized flowers, your green meadow, and the peaceful space you've made. Setting healthy boundaries in your personal life and career is like putting up a fence around your mental health, physical health, and the integrity of your spirit. Boundaries are important in our lives because they make it clear what we can and cannot accept. They're like personal boundaries that show where you end and others begin. Building healthy limits is a way to protect your spirit, your mental health, and your physical health. Setting clear boundaries keeps you from feeling overworked and tired and makes you less likely to be taken advantage of by others. As this video already said, one of the main reasons to protect your time and energy is to protect your goal and your energy. Living a balanced life is a journey. Not setting limits can cause you to feel stressed and spread too thin, which can make your schedule too full, leave you with no time for self-care, and cause your mental integrity to break down. Setting and sticking to healthy limits is important for your health and for making sure you have healthy relationships. To help you set and stick to limits, here are some ideas. Being self-aware means knowing your own wants, ideals, and limits. If you know yourself well, you'll be able to tell when someone is crossing your limits. Be clear when you talk. Be clear about your limits in a polite way. Don't blame or criticize other people when you talk about your feelings and wants. Instead, use I statements. Be assertive. Be strong about setting limits, even if it makes you feel bad at first. Don't forget that it's okay to put your health first. Get better at saying no. Don't feel like you have to say yes to every demand or request. It's not selfish to say no. It's a way to respect your own boundaries and needs. Make rules. You should set clear limits on your personal space, time, and energy. Tell others about these rules and make sure they are followed. Watch out for red flags. Pay attention to situations or people that regularly cross your lines or make you feel bad. Believe what your gut tells you and do something to keep yourself safe. Get help. Surround yourself with friends, family, or a therapist who can help you set limits and give you support. As part of taking care of yourself, make time for things that are good for your physical, social, and mental health. Taking care of yourself makes it easier to set and stick to healthy limits. Remember that setting limits is an ongoing process, and it's normal to run into problems along the way. Don't give up on taking care of your own wants and well-being, and give yourself time to learn and grow. Number 7. Surrounded by many, but only supported by the opportunistic. Stoic philosophy teaches us to value wisdom and judgment when choosing who to help. Through self-control and objectivity, we can distinguish between those who are sincere and those who want to take advantage of us and avoid wasting energy on solvable situations. If you suddenly find yourself alone, people who once considered you a good friend may begin to exclude you from happy times and only approach you when they need something specific or a favor. If we think realistically, this is not surprising. Generally, people do not invite their colleagues or their employees to social gatherings, let alone sharing leisure and fun. While this is reasonable, it does not mean that it is fair in all situations. Therefore, it is important to learn how to avoid being exploited by others, and soon we will share some strategies to make sure you get involved in your life. Only those who seek help, rarely those willing to contribute through Stoic philosophy, can maintain sincere and mutually beneficial relationships. To derive greater benefits from this classical knowledge, those who pass through our lives are often drawn to the energy we radiate. In other words, when we radiate negativity, we ultimately attract pessimists, people who have given up on life and people who don't have much goodwill toward themselves or others. On the other hand, when our spirits are positive, we draw positive people. As generous, kind, enthusiastic, hardworking, and happy people, when we give without expecting anything in return, we use up too much energy, which makes us vibrate at a lower frequency. This makes us attract people who need something or opportunities. This is most common when people who don't plan to repay come only to drain your energy. People who use this phrase are likely to be around someone who is having a hard time, but the people who are there to help them are mostly those who see chance to make money off of the situation. To put it another way, the help might not be real or selfless, but rather driven by selfishness. This could be useful in a number of situations, including politics. A politician may have a lot of supporters, but when they look more closely, they see that most of these followers are only showing support because they can get something out of it for themselves. In business, an entrepreneur may know a lot of people in their field, but when they need help, it usually comes from people who see a way to make money or move up by becoming involved with their projects. In social situations, a person may have a lot of friends or acquaintances, but they know that the people who really care about their well-being are the ones who support them during hard times, not the ones who are just interested in making friends. This phrase basically talks about how important it is to tell the difference between real support and help that is just there to take advantage of you in different areas of your life. It means that people should be careful and wise when figuring out why someone is helping them. Number 8, you could end up falling into addiction. As a Stoic philosopher, Fawaz Opa's pushed for balance and self-control. Being self-disciplined enough to be generous keeps us from getting stuck in addiction patterns and helps us have a good relationship with our choices and actions. When lack becomes a part of our everyday lives, the need for more grows. This is the perfect time to become addicted, so one day someone close to you may realize that you are drinking, eating, or gambling too much. Pay attention to what the people who care about you say, because your first reaction may be anger and denial that you have a problem. This is the most common response of people who are so caught up in their problems that they can't see that they have one. Always remember that the people who care about you only want what's best for you. Yes, addiction is a real problem that can affect anyone, no matter where they come from, how old they are, or what their situation is. It is important to know that addiction can happen from using drugs or alcohol too much over a long period of time, as well as from habits like gambling, gaming, or even too much time spent on the internet. Biological, social, and environmental factors often interact in a complicated way in addiction. Some people may be more genetically likely to become addicted, while others may turn to addictive habits as a way to deal with mental health problems, stress, or trauma. Help from a medical worker or a support group is important if you or someone you know is having trouble with addiction. You may be able to get help through therapy, medicine, support groups, or a mix of these. Getting help early on and keeping it up can greatly increase the chances of healing. Number 9, you may arouse suspicion. Stoic philosophy promotes the cultivation of good behavior, irrespective of potential misinterpretation or judgment from others, through the adherence to Stoic principles and values. We establish a genuine reputation that can endure baseless uncertainty, even as we aspire for a different world. It is a fact that only a small number of individuals truly exhibit a genuine sense of generosity. Consequently, if you are one of those individuals, you may attract suspicion instead of admiration and gratitude. However, this is not the primary concern. It is not uncommon for people to quickly question your hidden intentions when you display generosity. They may wonder about the circumstances surrounding your actions and whether there are any ulterior motives behind them. This does not imply that you have come upon an inherently dubious set of persons. They may genuinely be genuine. The majority of excessively giving individuals attempt to hide their intentions. A precautionary measure is to often avoid engaging with them and decline the help they propose. Therefore, in everything you strive to accomplish in life, try to rely on yourself regardless of how long it may take. Always observe who genuinely desires your betterment, because that person may open doors for your life. Don't expect to do something and receive something in return, just as you shouldn't help others with the expectation of receiving something in return. In daily life, we often face such problems, and others may try to take advantage of us. This can happen in many aspects, from personal to work and social relationships. To protect yourself and maintain balance in your life, it is important to understand and apply appropriate strategies that benefit others. Next, will please join us in acquiring and implementing this knowledge to cultivate self-assurance and wisdom in the realm of everyday life. Strategy number 1 should attentively heed their emotions. The initial stage is grounded in the Stoic concept of self-awareness. Being mindful of your emotions and mood is a fundamental element of Stoicism. Engaging in self-reflection is crucial for comprehending one's reactions and demands. By attentively listening to one's emotions, one may ascertain whether they are excessively committing and generating mental tension. This process aids in adjusting one's attention and achieving a more optimal equilibrium. Reflect upon your emotions when engaging in acts of altruism, self-care, and prioritizing your own needs. This act is equally commendable as assisting others, and it should elicit positive emotions. If you experience excessive pressure, exhaustion, anger, or exploitation, it indicates the need to take a moment to pause and attentively acknowledge your emotions. When experiencing unwarranted distress, it is crucial to acknowledge and address the emotions associated with it, since they serve as significant indicators of one's psychological state. Strategy number 2. Overcome the apprehension of declining requests. The word no holds significant importance in one's life, as it establishes boundaries and enables one to avoid energy-draining situations. By saying no, one demonstrates their values and rejects the notion of agreeing with everything. Conversely, when one agrees with everything, the ultimate response is typically reserved for stressful situations. This strategy follows the teachings of Stoicism and involves recognizing the value of your time and energy while consciously allocating them in a balanced way. Saying no in situations where you feel overwhelmed or when the requests are unfair is a way to practice self-control. Although it may be difficult for some people, the word no is often associated with negativity and pessimism. It's important to overcome the fear of using it in specific moments in your life. If we don't do so, negativity can manifest in our lives when someone asks us for more than we can fulfill. It's important to practice saying no. It can even be helpful to practice in front of a mirror and convince yourself that it's the only way to regain freedom and avoid unnecessary risk. It is important to consider the particularity of each circumstance. These tactics can facilitate the establishment of a more optimal equilibrium in your relationships and safeguard your attitude. Do you frequently employ the word no? If so, please share your thoughts or tell me a situation where saying no has benefited you in the comment section of this video. Strategy number 3. There is a time and space for you. This strategy is based on the Stoic principles of self-discipline and self-respect. Those are the core elements of your life setting. Aside time and space for self-care is extremely important. You really enjoy doing anything, be it playing sports, painting, listening to music, any hobbies, or anything that gets you excited. Try to complete your task as soon as possible so you can make time for these activities. This should be considered. Scheduling this time daily and weekly is crucial in your life. If you have a request for cooperation during this period, it is important to understand that individuals may have their own religious beliefs and may be willing to cooperate for their own benefit, rather than solely for you. Therefore, it is important to avoid exerting control and instead enjoy this time without feeling guilty. It is also important to avoid cheating as an exclusive means of gaining an advantage. If you are not too rigid, you can offer to help at another time, but it is important to note that your availability will be limited due to your own life. This will be a crucial strategy in your life. The fourth technique involves the cultivation of strategy number 4. Foster thankfulness on a regular basis. Engage in daily gratitude practice. Engaging in daily activities not only benefits the soul, but also fosters a positive and inspiring existence. Devoting time each day to contemplate the things you appreciate can profoundly alter your mindset and emotional state. This practice enables you to concentrate on the positive aspects of life and cultivate a more joyful mental state. An effective method to accomplish this is by maintaining a gratitude journal. In this journal, you can document your daily thoughts and emotions, as well as significant events and moments you have encountered. This practice not only aids in recollecting valuable memories in life, but also enhances your self-awareness and understanding of your aspirations. By regularly recording happy and thankful thoughts, your mind gradually eradicates negative ideas and fears, so creating room for positive energy. This enhances your optimism and preparedness to confront the challenges of life. To adopt a more optimistic outlook and actively pursue possibilities in all areas of life, it is advisable to regularly record the things you appreciate on a daily basis. This practice should be regarded as a crucial component of your overall life strategy. Implementing this technique can have a beneficial impact on your life, enabling you to cultivate a good mindset and sustain daily motivation. The strategy involves setting 5 specific goals and developing an action plan. Establish unambiguous targets and formulate strategies to attain lucidity and direction in your life by setting precise and attainable goals that will enable you to go towards accomplishing your life goals and ambitions. Keep in mind that typical advancement occurs gradually, so take pleasure in challenging yourself as you strive towards your life objectives. There are several supplementary strategies that can enhance the original 4 strategies proposed, so contributing to the enhancement of one's quality of life and spirituality in both professional and personal domains. One such technique is Realms Strategy number 6. It is important to recognize energy vampires and create physical space from them. This strategy adheres to the Stoic principles of self-control and self-awareness. It is crucial to acknowledge relationships that are advantageous to you and those that can deplete your mental energy. It is advisable to create distance from individuals who consistently deplete your energy and do not contribute positively. My peace of mind is of utmost importance to me, as it enables me to achieve my goals. When we have guidance in life, we tend to follow it. However, when we lack daily tranquility, it might impede or pull us down. Attempting to assist an energy drainer in understanding that it may not succeed can be counterproductive. These individuals frequently inundate you with grievances. Individuals with grievances and negative perspectives on life exhibit a lack of genuine concern for resolving their problems, as doing so would necessitate ceasing their complaints, a course of action they are unwilling to undertake. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the significance of equilibrium in all aspects of life, including acts of generosity. Excessive giving might create the perception of selfishness, yet excessive giving can exhaust our energy, time, and financial resources. It is crucial to bear in mind that financial depletion is highly perilous. Therefore, it is advisable to select optimal choices that strike a balance between prioritizing others and taking care of ourselves. When faced with uncertainty, it is advisable to recall the powerful word no. I sincerely hope that these suggestions have proven beneficial to you. It is important to acknowledge your significant contribution to this YouTube channel. If this video has facilitated contemplation or provided novel insights, we kindly request that you consider leaving a like, as it can help others explore the teachings of Stoic philosophy. Additionally, if you have not yet subscribed, please do so now and leave a comment. Thank you for viewing this video. See you in the next video. A lot of people are taught to be kind and put others' wants before their own. But does anyone tell us about what can happen if we are too caring and kind? The world is full of kind people who give to everyone and waste their own money and energy in the process. It's possible that being too kind could put our own lives in danger. Be amazed at the surprise bad things that can happen to you because you are too kind. Today I will tell you 9 of them and give you 6 Stoic ways to stop people from taking advantage of you right away. Let's move on to number 1. You will have unrealistic expectations of people. Stoics say that we should accept things as they are and not depend on other people's actions to make us happy. They say that if you give without expecting too much in return, you'll avoid sadness and develop emotional detachment, which will give you more peace of mind. Being completely selfless in our generosity is hard, because when we give our all, we expect others to do the same for us when we need something important. But if you're used to having everything done for you, people will assume that you can handle everything in their lives and yours, especially your own. If you couldn't handle your own, why would you take on other people's? In reality, what will happen is that your hopes for return will not be met. Instead, you'll feel bad, tired, frustrated, and let down. Still, if we look at it objectively, people aren't failing you. They're just doing what you should be doing, which is taking care of their own tasks. Different things, like societal norms, personal wants, past experiences, and media influences, can lead to unrealistic expectations. A lot of the time, these assumptions involve thinking that other people will act or behave in ways that may not be true. To keep relationships healthy and avoid disappointment or anger, it's important to understand and accept that people aren't perfect and may not always live up to our standards. It's important to be honest with others, hold them to reasonable standards, and show empathy and understanding. Managing standards can help you have more satisfying and peaceful interactions with other people, which can lead to relationships that are more realistic and last longer. Number 2, people will only want something from you. Stoics say that it's important to remember that true value comes from doing the right thing, not just what other people want. Moderation and giving will help you stay in charge of your actions and stay away from bad habits that are bad for your mental health. Having been, people are creatures of habit, which is something you've heard your whole life. This is because our bodies are made to get used to a rhythm, a way of life, and a lot of different things going on around us. Being able to change is where the idea of a safety zone comes from. People who gain from your kindness will expect you to give them something all the time if you do it often. This will earn you their respect. Comfort zones, and they won't do many of their duties because you'll be there to do them. The problem you'll have is not valuing yourself, because if you don't, no one will look you in the eyes and tell you to care more about yourself. At the very least, don't expect people you help to be compassionate in this way, because they will stick to